I welcome you all to our Certified DevOps Engineer Live Training Program. This is our roadmap, and we are going through with day 8 monitoring and visualization. We are learning Prometheus and Grafana. In the part 4, we started with container monitoring using Docker, and today we are extending part 4 containerized monitoring. Container monitoring and containerized monitoring. So, let's see what exactly mean containerized monitoring in this. So, let's see the agenda. So, today we are going, of course, to start with setup architecture. We will see what we are going to achieve. Then in this we will also deploy Prometheus in a Docker container, Grafana as a Docker container. Then we will integrate Grafana with the Prometheus or Prometheus with the Grafana. We will also see what kind of challenges we face when both are running inside the container environment. And we will introduce the service discovery. Then we will see what happened when we discover, when we introduce service or when we enable the service discovery feature, how Prometheus behave in this way, right? And we will also explore several service discovery use cases. And we will wrap up the session with the container service discovery, where we will see what to do when we have thousands of millions of containers. Should we monitor all, not monitor, or what to do? Okay, so we will be doing all these things, and of course, throughout this, we will be seeing the troubleshooting. So let's start with the first thing, setup architecture. In part 4, that's the setup we have done, right? With the virtual machine, and we set up the Grafana, Prometheus, cAdvisor, node exporter, of course, cAdvisor as a container, and we configure everything so Prometheus can pull or scrap the metrics, and we can visualize this over here. And today we are going to extend. What extend it means is still we have the same VM. And in this VM, first we will spin up the Prometheus, and we will see what happens when the Prometheus spin up in container. Then we will spin up the Grafana, and we will integrate with the Prometheus, and later on also we will be spinning we'll spin up the cAdvisor as well as the node exporter in container itself. And later on we will introduce the service discovery after this. So that was the first use case. Second use case with the dynamic service discovery, and what happened when we introduce the service discovery, right? So as name suggested, we want to get rid of this hard-coded configuration things all the time, so that will go away when we introduce this. And we will also spin up some of the other containers, and when we see what happened when we have this multiple containers, so how Prometheus behave, how Prometheus work, and what happened when we have different containers in place. So everything we are going to see in this session, and that completely hands-on. These are just a port. I will be using different port in this, okay, but you could also continue. I'll show you how you can check the ports are already being used. So we'll start with that to check whether port is available or not, or I will also show you how you could use a custom port. Okay, and I mean, of course, it's a Docker container based, so you really don't need to have any kind of prerequisite. Okay, for that I will be explaining each and every commands which I'm going to use over here. It is not necessary. If you want to really want to go more deep dive into, go ahead and do that, but it is not really strictly necessary. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our fingers hands dirty, whatever. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's check the status of existing, because this is the same system last time we set up the entire stack. So we could check like this, sudo ss-l tnp. Okay, so we are using the port, okay, Grafana, node exporter, and Prometheus. So these are there. Alternatively, you could also run this command sudo net start, okay, dash tulpn, and if this you found, okay, netstat, so you can install this tool, net tools. Okay, so command is sudo pt install -y if you want to. Okay, this is the command by which you can install this tool and run this command. So here we have clear things. Okay, these are the things are running on our system here once again, and sudo systemctl status. Let's stop. Okay, first install Prometheus service, Grafana server service, and node exporter. Okay, so all good. Everything is stopped. Our ports are free. Okay, container D. Okay, that's fine. 32797, all good. As we are going to install in Docker, so let's also check the Docker status. So for that, sudo systemctl status and the Docker service. Okay, which is inactive. So we need to start. And we also need Docker socket. Status docker dot sub. Okay, so which is active, that's good. And Docker, let's check. Okay, all good. If you get error, right, in server part, okay, if anyway you always get so if you get error like Unix or lib socket or something, error access, okay, permission deny, so this is most likely the case. Okay, you have to run this command docker start as well as docker stop. You have to check the status of both. Okay, last time we ran into situation, that's why I have checked it. And we also check, do we have any container running, even exited? We don't have anything. Do we have any images? Okay, so we don't have anything. We are good. Cool. So now first we will run the docker container. Okay, and how we can get most out of the docker setup, right? So for that I will be using some of the concept, and I will explain the commands which I'm going to use over here. Okay, of course it's not docker tutorial, right? So it's a Prometheus, so our focus will be more on the containerized version of the Prometheus Grafana and all these things, and of course the service discovery. So let us start with enough on the background. So first we will run the Prometheus container itself, so docker run and the detach, right? Then I'm going to use name from whatever name you want. I just like to call short form, otherwise I will have to type long name again and again. So it's a port 9191. Okay, so this is the port where I will be accessing the, or outside of the world I would say, or we would be accessing the Prometheus. This is the container port which is Prometheus run by default. Then we need after port, let's mount. Okay, let me first cancel it first of all. So let me create one directory. It's a monitoring directory. Monitoring, because we do not have to use it again and again. Let's go into it, and inside that Prometheus. Okay, let's type it. And here once again, sorry about that. So yeah, it's not a scripted, so everything in my mind. So now I'll try to focus and go things in sequence. All right, so what we have done here, we have created one directory monitoring, another inside that we have one directory Prometheus, and we will be running a docker container that will use this directory for the data. Okay, so let me clear the screen, and this time again I will say docker run d new line name. It's good to, you can execute all the things in one, but just for understanding or read, it's increase the readability, that's why I'm using like this. Then we have port 9191, right, and 9090, absolutely correct. Then I'm using pwd, so my present or current working directory is monitoring. Inside that it means, yeah, it's the Linux concept, right? So it's a variable which gives the output of, like when you execute pwd, either you could provide the entire path, but I'm fine with that. Then here we have a directory Prometheus. Okay. I have to type entire thing, and inside that we should be having prometheus.yml, and then we have to etc slash Prometheus. Okay, inside this is about the inside the container. Okay, this part is our what is on our local system, and this part is, so whatever we are going to write in this will be mounted in the container inside like this. Okay, and we also need docker image. So what we can do, okay, so let me log in again, ssh-p 122 sub 3 at that localhost. Okay, come up something different. That's fine. So let's open it here, and here we have a directory monitoring, and inside that we have Prometheus, and here we have a file. Not to okay, so we haven't filed yet. So let me first create a file. Okay, so we only need a Docker image over here, but before that, what we need, we have to write the configuration. Okay, and for configuration, again the quit YAML, we need a YAML file, Prometheus YAML file. Okay, so let's quickly write the YAML file. So we do like this so you can understand. Global, okay, so global parameters, scrape scrap underscore interval interval. Okay, so let's go with the default. That's fine. And what we have to do, we need to define scrap config, scrape underscore configs, and this one is job underscore name. Okay, we don't want to run into the same situation again as we did in last part 4. So job name Prometheus. Okay, Prometheus or dash server, that's fine. And then static config with s. Okay, and here we have to define the target. So targets, not only target. Okay, so oops, and here we have local host, and we go with 9090. Okay, so this is our YAML file. Okay, we have put it over here, and this one, right, this one, I mean this file prometheus.yaml, we are going to call over here. I mean we are going to mount in this. Okay, so our file is ready. Now we need a Docker image to create a container. So for that, what we will do, we will go like this, docker.com. Let's go to the biggest registry, public, for the Docker container registry or container registry. Here we will search for the prom. Okay, so here we go. We have a Prometheus, and we want to run Prometheus. Okay, Prometheus server. So let's click on this, and here you have an option to select a version. But for me, it's not what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm looking for something different. So I go back here on Prometheus, and I'm looking for ARM64. Most likely you are using AMD processor. Okay, so in previous part 4 I already explained you the significance of and why do we need this. Okay, so for me, Prometheus, this one, Prometheus Linux ARM64. Okay, so always check. I told you how you could check it. I'm gonna use this one. So I look over here, right? So here okay, let's go like this. Now we zoom it. So man, oh man, so yeah, release candidate is released. This version is also available now. Latest, you can select whatever you want. I'm fine with the main. Okay, so choose appropriate version and go ahead until you are just testing or learning. So any version is fine. Okay, like I'm using this one. Okay, we discussed this in detail, right? What's the significance when to use what? But let's go ahead and use this one. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and focus on this Docker run detach mode, name prom, then port, then we are mounting our local YAML file into etc prometheus.yml inside the container, and we have also given an image name, and we forgot one thing. We need to provide a port -p. Okay, and yeah, already we have given a port, so that's fine. So port is there, right? So we are all set. Let's hit enter, and it says okay, I'm not able to find the Docker image, and it is gonna download. and hopefully our Prometheus is up and running. Okay, 4 seconds ago, up 3 seconds, and yeah, it's working. Now let's access this. So on here, not this one. Yeah, let's go ahead, and we don't need it, so let me clear it out, close this as well. And here we need to access, okay, Prometheus. So we are making a tunnel, okay, and again this is also we already talked previously, right? Part 4. So dash capital L, then what is the port? 91. Okay, so 9191. Okay, this is the port I want to use on my Mac. Okay, on my host, not the guest one. Okay, and this is the guest port, so I can use localhost. And on localhost, okay, so this is the port, okay, Prometheus is listening on. Then DSOC3, then DSOC3 at the rate 127.0.0.1, and then okay, then provide a password, and now we can access the Prometheus, right? Let me localhost 9191, and localhost 9191 doesn't work. Let me check what happened. Permission denied. Okay, so I made a mistake, and mistake is not do as it's a DSOC3, and now the port, I mean the password, not the port, and here we go. Okay, if you want to access, like for example, this maybe if this port is not available on your system, okay, so I told you how you could check it. So you can change the port number like this, 9292. Okay, just to show you, next time I'm not going to do that. And here, of course, because we have changed the port, and 9292, and we are in. Okay, so that's a way. I'm fine with the previous one. So this is the way, right? So now I have to change again the port. Just I'm doing it so you won't be confused what we are doing if you are watching this video first time. Previously we have done this several times, even in Kubernetes, right? And this is the way always work, even if you are accessing remote server and you don't on remote server you have only the black screen, you don't have any browser, any facility, you can open up the tunnel on your local system. All right, so we are done with this. We are able to access the Prometheus, right? And let's do the sanity check. So sanity check, it means of course Prometheus server, and yep, it's up and running, all good. Next thing we are gonna run, yes, you guessed it. So docker run into batch mode Grafana. Yes, we are going to run Grafana, but before that let me check first. Cancel. We have a Grafana. Okay, mkdir Grafana dash data. Okay, so we are going to use this directory Grafana data. Okay, and it's always good to use volume. Okay, especially, I mean, of course it's in production we do, but when you're testing, so you will not lose whatever settings, whatever data you're putting. Okay, so we will mount this later in this. So let's run it again. Docker run detach mode dash dash name Grafana. The name is okay. Now we have to put port, and by default Grafana listens on 3000, but I'm changing it to the 4000. Okay, I could use, but why I'm showing you this one, so in case if you want to know how to change the port, that's why. Okay, it's not like I'm just doing show off, so it's not like that. So it's my way. You could also go with your way, no restriction. And we go ahead volume, and the same thing we'll do like this pwd, then Grafana data, and inside this. Okay, then we have to mount this, and where would we mount it exactly? So we have to mount it inside its directory var lib and Grafana. Okay, this is the data we are interested in. I mean, this is directory we want to preserve the data of. Okay, so that's why -v pwd, and here we have Grafana data, and we are mounting this inside var lib Grafana. So we could have all the data of this directory in over here. And yes, we need a Docker image. So for that, let's go ahead and here let's try Grafana and Grafana OSS. Okay, this image we are interested in. And I will copy paste it like this. And if you're looking something else, click here, and you have so many things. Okay, here we go. So the last thing I need to run Grafana a container, right? This is the Grafana-os. I'll put all these commands as well in our GitHub repository. Okay, and comments of this section is as well. Wherever you would like to access, it's up to you. So I'm fine. Docker run -d name Grafana port 4000. I want to access on internal port 3000. pwd Grafana -data var lib Docker. Var lib Grafana and Grafana. This one. Okay, so all set. Let's hit enter. Of course, the image is not available. It is going out and pull the image for us, and the image is being pulled. Once it is done, then we will check its status first, whether the command which I showed you it's really working or not. Okay, so docker ps. All right, so Grafana is not working. Let me check why. Clear the screen. So let's go ahead and see the logs. Okay, varlib Grafana plugins permission denied. Okay, cannot create a directory varlib. Okay, fine. So let's go ahead and make it other way around. So here there are two things. Okay, let me show you over here Grafana data. Right, so all these files, I mean everything on this directory. Okay, this inside the user, whichever user is inside. I believe the Grafana, we didn't exec in this. So instead of that, let's use the direct Docker volume. So we already discussed this in our day 6, right? How to provide the permission to the directory when we saw this volume concept, right? So I'm going to remove first Grafana rm, and I go ahead, clear the screen, and come over here. Okay, all right. Control D. Okay, so what happened? The volume will be created, and which already has the permission of the Grafana. It's already you can inspect and see exact location where it is going to be created on the host. Okay, so it will be definitely on the host, and then it will execute things. I mean, it will store the things for you. All right, so docker ps, and now Grafana is up and running. Okay, I really don't want to go into that troubleshooting, but I told you the steps. If you're following along, go ahead and on this directory, right? Grafana, create a user, provide access and the permissions, okay, for the user, and then user will be able to do this. All right, so here we go, docker ps, and we have this. Do like this. Okay. Okay, so same thing we are going to do. Control C, Control V, and if you are on Linux, Control Shift C, Control Shift V, and Linux is the same as well. And my I'm accessing is or expose the 4000 port, right? So doing the same, localhost 4000, and this one, not here, sorry, here. All right, so tunnel is going to be open for us, and we are able to access the Grafana. Here we go. Local host 4000. All right, So we could access, and yes, of course, several times we have checked it. Admin, I'm not going to change the password. Now we know, okay, in order to create dashboard, we have to go over here, but that is not the point for the, or that is not the focus for this spinning up the Grafana. Okay, here we have to set up a connection integration, right? So we have to click over here, connection, and of course we could see many, but we have to, in this, you see, in connection. So where I am, this side, the left side of the screen, home and all these things, all the way come to the connections, and in connections, okay, add new connections, we have to click on data source, right? And come over here like this, add data source, and as soon as we click on this, we will get open source Prometheus. All good. Configure your Prometheus data source. That's we know, already discussed several times. Now we have to put this one. Okay, so http colon local host Prometheus is running on 9090, and come all the way down, save, and oh my god, what is this post, blah blah blah, 9090 query dial connection refuse. Okay, there was an error written querying the Prometheus API. So what's the reason? So a simple reason is here, when you're putting localhost, okay, and your Grafana, wait, let me go over here. This Grafana is running, not running on this host, okay, this running inside the container. So when we putting this local host, so it is trying to find inside the container, and which is not the case. Okay, additionally, if you are using both, if you are running in the same network, okay, when you spin up, so maybe you use like option network and let's say monitoring or something, and if when you spin up the container, okay, so in that case you could also configure like this, http and prom. So prom is the name of your container, but I didn't use intentionally in the same network, okay, that I don't want to, because no fun in that. But if you are using, you could also resolve, and it is gonna be. But if I do like this, just for the mental ease testing, this could take up to a couple of minutes. Okay, so it is keep on trying, and we will end up with something timeout or something like that. Okay, because it will not able to resolve, because both, it's a simple networking concept. Okay, that's we already talked, so I will not go more deeper into, just to come on the point. So what we have to do, okay, so very simple, what you can do here, we have exposed the 9191, right? I mean 9090 on 000 and this port. Okay, so it is listening for the word 9191. Ideally you don't do in your production system like this. Then what would you do? Let me know in the comments, I'll answer. Okay, but for now what I'm going to do, I'm my virtual machine. Okay, if you run IPA, either you could provide a Docker host IP, or you could provide the container IP. So for example, this one. Okay, so of course Docker, let me show you, inspect from, okay, and gateway IP address, this is the IP address. Okay, and what happened, let me put like this, we are not going to use it, but let's, and it's a safe queried. And but what happened, I will start or restart, and yes, I'm gonna several times I will restart this Prometheus container, and every time the IP will get changed, right? This is ephemeral IP, so this is not the feasible solution. So what we'll do instead, I'm going to use, I will take another path. Okay, and another path is, I will use IPA and the IP of this, or my guest virtual machine or simple virtual machine. So if you are using net like me, so 10.0.2.15, okay, this is the IP by default you get. If not, then run IPA and put the IP address of this machine over here, and this will also resolve the things for you. And it says no, not at all. And when we put the container IP, so yes, it proved inside container, this is the port. Okay, and for outside, those who are coming from outside, this is the port, so 9191. So we have to update one more thing over here, right? And one more thing is port, so we have to correct the port number. And now this is the last thing we have to do in the configuration or integration of the Prometheus, right? So it says successfully queried the Prometheus API. Okay, now it's done, and we have okay. And if you want, we can again dashboard. I could go here, right? Import. In import, I'll come over here. I can put a Grafana ID. So let's simple 358. I mean, we have done this several times, but just to understand, okay, for ourselves. Okay, in this way you can import it. Okay, so I'm not gonna do it, right? So you have to do it in this way, and because we have done it several times. Okay, we have to do more other things as well, the important things. All right, so our Prometheus is sorry, our Grafana is connected, both are integrated. Okay, Prometheus is working fine. And if you see over here, so what we could do now, we want to, let's say, scrap the Prometheus itself, sorry, Grafana. So what we can do over here, we can edit the Prometheus.yaml, and in this we can just copy paste 1 2 3 3 yy, b yank means copy and p means paste. So I have done this copy pasting, x for delete inside Grafana server and localhost, and it's working and it's listening on 4000. Okay, just to save the time, I will go now little bit faster. Okay, the topics which are already discussed several times. Okay, oh god, not this many. For 4000 targets and Grafana server. Let's go ahead. Okay, we have done, and of course it's a container, so we have to restart. Docker restart. Oh, not this one, from. Okay, so it's run, and we will be able to see, of course, at the moment no scrap pools found, but it will be because it's coming up shortly. And here we go. All right, come on, don't do like this. Okay, scrapping target 4000 matrix target, connection refused. What just happened? So yes, your guess is completely correct. Okay, so what we need to do, come back over here, and localhost. So for Grafana was not able to resolve localhost because if we say localhost inside container, so it Prometheus will go and see inside its own container. Okay, and for us it's not the case, and for us we are doing something else. Yes, exactly. So we have to put the IP address of our VM 2.15 and then restart. Come over here. Hopefully, of course, it will come up. It will show a screen. Yeah, correct. So Grafana server 4000, right? And up, you could see. Okay, and this is also up. It means we know it's scrapping the target, right? Grafana and this one. So this is how we can install. And if you want, we can spin up the cAdvisor, right? Node exporter, everything in here. But the thing is, what's wrong over here? Yes, correct. So here the problem is, if you see in this, right, we have to hard code these values, right? So, and we don't want to hard code. So if we are running one container, two container, 10 container, 1000 container, 100 containers, million containers, for each and every container, should we open this file and add it again and again and put the targets? No, that's what we don't want, right? And that's where service discovery comes in play. Okay, that is a lifesaver. So next, extend this Prometheus, so it can automatically, whatever container is there, it can automatically scrap those containers. Okay, like this, we don't have to go ahead and put all these things. Okay, that's the beauty of that's a main powerful feature that's we want to do, and that's we would be doing in the production systems as well. So let's see that. Okay, so let's clear the screen first, and we have to take first backup. copy existing Prometheus file, prometheus.yml, and Prometheus, not this one, okay. So where first one, I'll share this in the GitHub repository. Okay, so here we go. We have taken a backup. So let's edit this, and first, before editing that, let's confirm whether this file is there or not. Come on. Yeah, we have both vi prometheus.yml. So we want not to do this stuff, right? Yes, stuff. We want something else. So delete. We don't want, but we want a job name, and let's keep the job name like this. Okay, service discovery dash disco discovery. Okay, service discovery. And instead of this, we want something else. Okay, and what do we want? We want docker underscore sd. Okay, and remove this one. So docker sd configs. And in this, instead of, this target, we have to do something else. So we want to access host, and here, not Unix, Unix column, we want, or we have to. So we are providing a way for the Prometheus and asking Prometheus to go on this address. Okay, and there you will find everything. So don't come back to us again and again. Always go over here, whatever you get, grab it. Okay, so that's why host, and we know it's a Unix socket. Of course it's a Docker socket, but we are accessing via Unix. So it's a Linux way, like for website you access https colon like this. So we are accessing out this local system. That's why we are putting like this / if you want to learn more about Linux, go ahead and if you wish to refresh day one Linux for DevOps. Okay, so refresh underscore interval. Let me save some time. Underscore we already did. Refresh underscore intervals. Let's say 30 seconds. So global. Okay, scrap config, job name, service discovery. You could put any name. You really not need to be strict with this. I'm just it has just came up in my mind, so I'm using that. You could have use any name over here. Service discovery. So host Unix var run docker sock, refresh interval like this, and let's go ahead and see. Let me check once, is there any typos, because I'm very used to it so far. You might be also familiar with my this way, but anyways, that's also give us a kind of troubleshooting moment, right? And we remember next time. So like last time we put this job's name, and now we know job underscore name, and we forever know this, right? Remember this. So scrap configs, job name, docker underscore sd underscore configs, host Unix var run docker.sock, refresh underscore interval. Okay, so all good, and that is 30s. Fine. Now restart. So docker restart from, come over here, refresh. So here it says no scrap pools found. Refresh again, hiding pool with not matching a target. So show empty, we find. So you could see before we had a different name, right? And now we have service discovery name, and we can refresh again. It won't come still. Let's give it some try, and let's see what happened. Meanwhile, we can also check our the service discovery part. So of course it's a show empty, and we do not have any service discovery. And let's check the configuration file. So host Unix, this one, this part. Okay, docker.sock. Okay, let's come back. Target health still no targets. So let me do one thing. So let's troubleshoot. It's our moment. Docker logs from. Okay, so info. Yeah, so we have errors and we have lots of errors. And the important one, which we are interested in, the last, okay, discovery, Docker config service discovery error while listening containers cannot connect to the Docker daemon at this. So it is not able to. So last time we have created one file in var run docker, and I think, yeah, what was the name of the file? Config, yeah, .json file, where we put the where Prometheus has to go. This time we said, okay, directly talk to this guy. Okay, you get everything. Don't come back to us. We have a lot of things to do. But it cannot connect it. So what's wrong? Our Prometheus is working, right? There is no problem. Okay, so what's the problem then? So here the thing is, we have to mount the socket, okay, with the Prometheus container. Then it would be able to communicate, okay, because inside container it does not have. So let's do one thing. Docker stop from docker rm from, remove this all guide. We do not have Docker container even in exit as well. Okay, so now go back over here. Not Grafana, Prometheus, Grafana. Okay, here we go. So in this, everything is same except, not except, additionally, I would say, either you could provide anywhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do right before here, -v, and what was the error? This one. Copy this and come over here, put like this, right? And yes, we want to mount inside. Simple. We don't have to do any additional. Just copy the from the error. Okay, /v var run docker.sock, and we are mounting it inside the container. Var run docker.sock. Rest everything is same. No change at all. Run docker ps. Prometheus is running. Okay, and here we go. Now refresh. Now let's check what do we have in. Do we have anything in service discovery? No. So I believe it is still not working. Let's check the logs again. Not remove. Not stop. Okay, so now you see the previously the error was something different, right? Couldn't connect, and this time it found, okay, and it's tried to connect, but this time we have something different, and this different is it says connection, right? Permission denied. So if we check this one, not the error. So you could see here only root and the Docker. These two users, okay, I mean those who are in the group of Docker or root, they are able to access this. So guys, here there is a trade-off for, yes, you know me, I hate to do this, but I have to anyway. I have to show you. So that the one of the approach I will do, and after that I will tell you there are more approaches as well. So let's go ahead and do that thing. What that thing to resolve the deny error. So for that again, we have to stop. We have to remove. Oops. Docker rm and the, okay, remove. Now again, so now what we have to do, we have to run this as a user, but I removed. Okay, let me run it again. We will remove it again. Docker exec-it from sh. So if you come inside the Prometheus, I have not make any changes. I forgot to tell you, so that's why I run the same container as it was. Okay, and when you execute this command, who am I? So here you could see the user is nobody, and it is not a user. I mean, there is no group Docker or anything, right? And if I come over here and I execute, you could see this user is a member of Docker, even sudo, right? So that's why it is able to execute. So now what we are going to do, we stop this, then we remove this, and in this command, okay, let me clear the screen. and in this command we use a user. Okay, let's first see the how service discovery works. Okay, we are understanding the workflow. Okay, dash dash user, and let's go ahead. I really had to use root user, and we don't use at all hypothetically. Some people do. Okay, but that's not my way. But anyways, I have to show you first. So I have run it docker yes. So we are coming on that. I will show you more how we can, what are the other ways as well. So guys, let's refresh. Okay, and here we have service discovery. So on service discovery, we have a lot of information. So okay, so go ahead, check the configuration. So I can prove I did not put anything over here except this. Okay, and if I go ahead and see the targets, so we have both the targets, right? On 3000, we know the Grafana is listening, and on matrix, I mean 9090, Prometheus is listening, and it which is listening inside. Okay, so it's showing the internal port. These are the instance, port, service discovery, job name, right? We have talked all everything in very good details in part 2, 3, 4 every time. So I have to show more things, so I will not spend much time over here, but yes, it's working. We could see the container. Now let's go ahead and run some more containers. For that, what I will do, github.com/dsoc3. Okay, let's go over here, and in this directory, okay, here also I've already put that. Okay, I will put later more. So in this one, docker container monitoring. Okay, and here in part 4, docker engine, Prometheus, matrix, Grafana dashboard, cAdvisor. Let's run this. So all good. Okay, and we discussed this, so there is no more fun to explain this again, right? Let me run this. So but one thing, cAdvisor is an open source tool from the Google, which is very amazing to monitor your containers. Now check the container status. We should see cAdvisor, and if we come over here, here we should be see at 1000 and the metrics. Wow, it's working, right? Let's run node exporter, and for node exporter, back. I'm lazy person, I really don't want to do that. So node exporter, node again, this time node underscore exporter, no, node dash exporter, still no. Wow, let me find MySQL exporter, Prometheus, MySQL Prometheus Linux ARM. Simple. I will do one thing. Why? Let's go in this way. Node exporter. Okay, node exporter ARM version 7, node exporter Linux AMD, node exporter Linux ARM64. This is the one I'm interested in. I'll click on this, and we do not have any instruction, right? So that's fine. We know how to run it. Copy this, clear this, docker run, detach dash dash name, node expo. Okay, let's run it on default port. That's fine. We don't have to expose because we don't want to, well, it will be automatically exposed, right? And it will show in service discovery, so we don't need. But if you have a requirement where you want to access it externally, go ahead and do that. So docker ps and node expo. Where is node expo? Yeah, there we go. It's up and running. And if I come over here, refresh, give it some time. If you are impatient, so restart the Prometheus container. Okay, it will be refreshed automatically. It's showing unknown. So which one? Okay, 9100. Now it would be up. Okay, so everything is working fine. Now there is one thing over here, like these are just 4 containers, right? So we know 9090 for Prometheus, 3000 Grafana, 8000 cAdvisor, 9100 for node exporter. But when you have your own applications, okay, in CI/CD case, right, when you have multiple containers come and go, so how will you, or simply when you have multiple containers, how will you identify which container is this? So we have the solution for that, okay, and the solution is very simple. For that, we have to come back over here. Yes, absolutely correct. Prometheus, Prometheus, right? And let's take a backup of this as well. cp control e Prometheus, Prometheus.yml. So first we had a backup of 1. This one is 2. Okay, now we can peacefully edit this, but before that I would like to confirm whether our backup we backed up properly or not. 1 2 is there. Good, very good. Here the screen, Prometheus.yml. All right, so in the same, okay, so we want to do something. I just press O. So what we have to do here, it should become under this, okay. So it is relabel config. So we are relabeling. So what we are doing, let me do it, relabel underscore config, and with the S, come over here, and here we have to put the source underscore labels, labels. And here what we want to do, so 1 second, not like this, click over here. I just click on this one, and I need the meta docker container name. Okay, all right, let's use this one. Okay, so we already have these labels, but we want to see that in over here, right? So I just copy that from there. Okay, explore more as well if you want to. Okay, targets, no, sorry, target underscore label. Remember spelling. Okay, if you spell wrong or type wrong, then it will be give you error container. Okay, so relabel underscore configs. So relabel underscore configs, inside that we have put source underscore labels, and I think we have to nothing, we have to put like this because this is key, this is value, and meta underscore docker underscore container underscore name and the target. And here you go, it should not come like this, it should be like this because these are together, target, label, and the container, right? So now let's save this again. Docker stop from docker from name from. Okay, so this time what we are going to do, we have to, let's first check what happened before restarting. Okay, so we already removed, but when you are following along, so don't remove it, don't stop it, and check it what happened. Okay, anyways, I have to run it again, and let's see. So configuration looks good, no change in configuration. Let's see the service discovery. Okay, so we have targets, and now if you see in the labels, okay, we have given a name. So this was the same, but now these are the labels we have given over here. And especially monitoring labels are really important, like in Kubernetes. Okay, so there are so many labels, predefined labels are available. Find that, use that, and use those or that which is helpful for you or you need. Okay, so explore the available labels and accordingly you can put them. Okay, maybe like team or department or whatever. Okay, or maybe if you are working with global company, so maybe company has global different accounts, so on and so forth. So now our Prometheus node exporter, cAdvisor, Grafana, everything is up and running, right? And last time here, if we see where is our GitHub repository, 193. Okay, so this was the, yeah, you have, I mean, this is given for you, so you could use it if you want to. All right, I'm not going to the dashboard Grafana. Okay, everything I'll put like this. So here you have part 4, I will put as a part 5, and all the steps over there. Meanwhile, I will put the command in the comment section already, so you can go ahead and grab and use if you want. So this is done. Right now, let's go ahead and run one more container. Docker run -d name nginx -m and nginx. Okay, so we have run nginx container. Let's check. Docker ps nginx m. Okay, so nginx m, which is over here, and refresh. So status 404 not found. Okay, error grabbing target. So we could check logs as well. Docker logs from not from, yeah, of course. We need to check them. And here we didn't find anything, any error. No. Let's see the nginx nginx -m, not this one. So here you could see some of the information, request get metrics. Okay, so here there are two things. Yes, that's a practice question for you. You have to enable the module inside the nginx, and after that you have to deploy it and see it. If that will not come up again, then you have to use nginx exporter. Okay, and you are good with that. So here I wanted to show you one thing. Okay, it is not gonna work at all, and for why this work for others, because all this, okay, Prometheus, this one, so Prometheus node exporter, cAdvisor, Grafana, right? So Prometheus of course exposes its own matrix, right, that we already talked in previous section 3 and 4 very details, right? But by default nginx doesn't. If you wish, you could run more containers and check it. So let's go ahead and do that. Where is Docker? Okay, let's say m2 nginx, then m3 nginx, m4 nginx, and m5 as well. Okay, all good. Docker ps, and how many containers we are running? Sorry, clear the screen. Docker ps. Okay, 9 containers, right? So when I refresh this again, I would be able to see this information here as well. So this container I'm not able to. M2, M3, M4, everything will come soon here. So what should we do now? So out of 9, 4 are up. Of course, 5 are done. Let's refresh, and yeah, we keep on doing this thing, but it won't come, right? But interesting one thing, if you come over here on service discovery, so you could see 9 of 9 is green. Okay, because all these are discoverable by the tags, right? But in target, it is not scrappable. That's why it's showing the down. And I told you the what are the solution for this. Okay, so why did I spin up this many containers? Yes, so reason is very simple, right? Sometimes we don't want some of the containers. So for example, I don't want to monitor, for example, nginx container at all. Then what should I do? Or I have thousands of containers, millions of containers running on the host, so I don't want to monitor all the containers. So what would I do, right? Because it's, we know, because Prometheus starts scrapping the matrix and store it on the local system, so it's unnecessarily heavy weight. So I ran already in one of my situation when I was setting it up. I was testing, and there was an alarm setup, I mean alert setup, when container is not like down, then throws the alert. So it was keep on sending And yeah, that was very embarrassing situation. So that's why I thought to share with you. So we come up with the solution, and that solution is we only monitor some of the containers which we want to. So for that, what we have to do, let's go back over here, and again I will take a backup of this prometheus.yaml and prometheus.yaml. I think 2 we have already taken, so 3. Let's take Prometheus. Okay, 1 2 3. And now it's this one, we are gonna edit this one, right? So what we have to do, simply we have to copy. Okay, so let me yank and E. So why is copy? Suppose we learn in day 1 part 3 VIM, so metadata docker container. And here what we want to do, we want to give a name. So we want, let me first make it, and I explain it. Level underscore monitor. So what I have done over here, so I said, okay, whatever or whichever container has this label, only monitor those one. Okay, so you could put your name as well, and but you have to provide those labels into your containers, right? So I have done like this. Then I use regex, and it's a true. I'll also give you some of the tips over here what you could do. Let me first finish this one. Action is keep, right? So source labels under this. So why I'm putting it up, always if you are editing, okay, always keep this up so you don't have to run into the troubleshooting, because these are the YAML file, and YAMLs are really case sensitive about indentation. So you know when you're putting it, so you have to put it like this after this, so it will be automatically aligned. That's my trick, my way of doing. If you are really genius, touch wood, you would be, and I hope. So however you like. Okay, so source labels meta underscore docker underscore container label monitor. Regex true, action keep. Okay, all right. Now put it like this. Okay, so let's come over here. Refresh this. Refresh this. Refresh this. Refresh this. Refresh this. Refresh this. Let's give it some time. Okay, so this time I would like to restart. Okay. And that's what we are expecting. Why? Why we are expecting this, guys? Let's go ahead and see the service discovery. Do we have any drop due to relabeling rules, right? So that's why we do not have target labels. You could see over here, before we had something, right? So we have changed, or we have put a rule. So now what we need to do, very simple thing here. Let's go ahead, docker stop cAdvisor, and we relabel this, right? So docker rm cAdvisor, it's removed. Now what I will do, name cAdvisor advisor, no, okay, anyways, so I can simply go back over here. No, let me find it. Okay, fine, it's here. So in this, let's put it labels. So dash ABEL label. What was that? Monitor. Okay, monitor equals to true. That's what we put in configuration after label underscore and monitor. So we have given it a true. So now it has a label monitor equals to true, right? And let's go ahead. WPS cAdvisor. Okay, why not we see it over here instead of seeing it there? So let's first see target health. Here we go. So now 8,000 cAdvisor, and if we go in service discovery, and here we could find it, right? Target labels. And for rest, yes, it is discoverable, but there is no label. It's not automatically detecting. So what we have to do in that case, if we want to, or if we want the container should be monitored by the Prometheus, right? So we have to make changes again. So let's go ahead and do for stop from 12 not expo. Okay, so that was there, and here we'll use, okay, well, let's do one thing, copy paste and save some time. Keep it on. Before that, we need to remove it. Okay, I'm not expo. Okay, run level 1, 2, and we also remove the Prometheus, right? And then we have to run the Prometheus. Let's see, advisor. Here we go. In this, let me put the level over here like this, and come back over here, give it some time, and boom. Okay, if you want to monitor Grafana, you could do using like this. Okay, and if we go back over here, service discovery, so you could check the levels. Okay, because we have enabled the monitoring true, right? And for these others, we don't want to monitor at all, and that's why it is not showing. And in this way, especially in enterprise level, when you have so many data, right? So like if you are, let's say if you, Nginx, right? You don't want to do that. So I just showed you one of the thing, right? So it saves a lot of your memory space, okay, processing as well, because Prometheus also takes a lot of, has to do a lot of processing. And you could play here. Okay, here I showed you how to enable for containers you want to monitor, but you really don't want to do for each and every container monitoring, or monitor equals to true, monitor equals to true, right? So here regex, okay, play around it. That's a assignment or practice thing for you. Okay, so let's say you just want to monitor Grafana server, or you could put over here, okay, I don't want to monitor this container start with Nginx or something like that. Play around it. You could explore more. Okay, and another thing which when I told you about this, right? So there are more ways to do this, not this one, to instead of providing the root root. I mean, Prometheus runs as a root user. You have option. You could run the proxy, okay, Docker proxy, by which you can connect this one, okay, and there are other ways as well. Okay, you could maybe create a custom Docker image, okay, and inside that you could provide, or you could run the as a Prometheus user, which could access this socket, okay, but root never ever. Okay, so I have given you enough practice questions as well, practice scenarios as well on this. Go ahead and do that and explore it more. There are lots of things are waiting ahead for you. Okay, and one more thing on this topic. So everything, like in my setup, I have picked up very easy thing, or easier thing, right? Everything on one local system. Okay, what happened when you have multiple systems, okay, where on your Docker containers are multiple systems, then how would you monitor all those containers which are on remote host? Okay, so consider that if you are going for monitoring position, that kind of that's a project, that's not an assignment. Okay, set up your environment with multiple VMs and follow the same procedure. And if you need anything, ask me, drop your questions over there in the comment section. I will definitely answer. Okay, so that's the kind of project for you, and I guaranteed myself to you. Okay, I believe if you will be able to do that, then you will be master. in monitoring setup. Okay, and you will be really confident once you do that. I mean, this is also enough. Okay, as a DevOps or developer, it's enough. But out of curiosity, if you want to learn more, go ahead and do that project. You will definitely come back and don't thank me. Thank yourself, because that would be your efforts. Okay. So I believe that's more than enough knowledge on container and containerized monitoring. So let's go back. So we are now at the conclusion and what next. So in this, we have learned setup architecture. I mean, that's our first point. And we installed Prometheus in container or Dockerized way, Grafana also. Then we saw several challenges for Prometheus and Grafana. Okay, how we integrate when both are running inside the container. Well, on service discovery, then we saw how Prometheus behave when we enable the feature service discovery, and how we also saw how we can configure. We also discussed several service discovery use cases, and when we enable this, right, when we have multiple containers, so how to monitor and how we can restrict the container what we don't want to monitor. So everything we have learned in this part 5. And next, and of course, troubleshooting, that's one of the important thing. In next, we are going to start Kubernetes based monitoring. That would be in part 6, and we will be deploying Prometheus Grafana inside the Kubernetes cluster, and that will be really fun. That's the very exciting. But at this moment, I believe we have so much knowledge on Prometheus and Grafana, its deployment, because we already saw in several ways how we can deploy this in bare metal, VMs, containerized, everything. And now is the last stage to deploy it in the Grafana, not into Grafana, deploy it in the Kubernetes cluster to monitor, as well as cluster itself, as well as the applications. Okay, so that we will be doing in next part next week. And if you have any of the or any questions, please feel free to ask, drop them in comment, or if you want to provide your feedback, we really would to love that. Or if you want, you could also write here if your questions, feedback, whatever your thoughts, all good. You could write is over this is our email ID. And again, thank you, thanks a lot for your kind support and love which you are providing. That's really motivate us. So keep on motivating us. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, see you next week. Until then, bye bye.